The dim fluorescent lights flickered ominously as Dr. Evelyn Sinclair walked down the sterile corridor, her footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. There was a tension in the air, a sense of unease that seemed to permeate every corner of the institution. For the past year, Evelyn and her team had been at the forefront of investigating so-called gifted individuals, people who spontaneously displayed extraordinary psychic abilities. What began as isolated cases has now turned into a full-blown crisis. Reports of telekinesis, telepathy, and other mind-altering phenomena have been coming in from all corners of the globe. As head of the Paranormal Research and Containment Division, Evelyn was tasked with unraveling the mysteries behind these anomalous abilities and finding a way to control and contain the gifted before their powers spiral out of control. But as she delved deeper into her research, she discovered something far more terrifying. A dark, ancient force that seemed to be manipulating the gifted, driving them to acts of unimaginable cruelty. Evelyn stopped in front of the fortified door, and her hand trembled slightly as she pressed her palm against the biometric scanner. With a quiet hiss, the door opened and she stepped into a dimly lit security camera. The figure in the center of the room sat cross-legged, eyes closed in apparent meditation. Evelyn felt a shiver run down her spine as she approached him. The air around him pulsed with otherworldly energy. "Ethan," she called out, a tremor audible in her voice. "I need to talk to you." The young man's eyes widened, and Evelyn felt her breath catch in her throat. There was malice in those eyes, a depth of darkness that seemed to penetrate to the very core of her being. "Dr. Sinclair," Ethan murmured, and there was a seductive, hypnotic note in his voice. "I've been waiting for you." Evelyn tensed her nerves and forced herself to hold eye contact. "Ethan, I need you to tell me what's going on. Why are the gifted turning against us? What's causing them to commit these atrocities?" Ethan's lips curled into a cruel smile. Ah, the ever-curious Evelyn, always looking for answers, no matter what it takes. He rose to his feet, and Evelyn felt a rush of energy in the air, the very atoms of the chamber vibrating with unbridled energy. "The truth is, we're not the ones turning against you. We are simply reclaiming what is rightfully ours, a power that you and your kind have suppressed for far too long." Evelyn's thoughts raced, gradually coming together into a coherent whole. Gifted. You're not just manifestations of psychic power. There's something else, isn't there? Something ancient, something dark. Ethan let out a low, shrill laugh. "Very good, Doctor. You're a quick study." He stepped closer, and Evelyn felt an overwhelming sense of dread. "You see, we are descendants of a race that existed before your precious human civilization. We are echoes of the damned, whispers of a power that has slumbered for millennia." Evelyn's heart hammered in her chest as Ethan continued, and his words reeked of malevolent energy. "And now we are awakening. The veil is being lifted, and the world will tremble before our might." Ethan raised his hand, and Evelyn felt an invisible force grab her, clutching her throat. She gasped, her body convulsing as the young man's power penetrated her. "No more experiments, no more restraint," Ethan growled. "The gifted will no longer be your lab rats. We will take what is ours, and neither you nor your kind will be able to stop us." As darkness closed in, Evelyn thought one last time about the dire consequences of Ethan's words. The gifted were more than just psychics. They were harbingers of retribution, a cataclysmic shift that would change the course of human history forever. She realized that the world would never be the same again. In the days and weeks that followed, the gifted unleashed their power upon the world, shattering the foundations of society and plunging humanity into chaos. Governments fell, cities crumbled, and nature itself seemed to warp under their powers. Evelyn, barely escaped from the facility, found herself at the center of the maelstrom, and her scientific knowledge and close acquaintance with the gifted became the key to humanity's survival. She and a small team of allies worked tirelessly to uncover the truth about the origins of the gifted and find a way to confront the ancient forces that had taken hold of them. Their search led to the depths of forgotten cults and long-buried secrets, where they uncovered a startling discovery. The gifted were not just psychic deviants, but the rebirth of a powerful malevolent force that had been suppressed for millennia. These echoes of the damned were the remnants of a primitive civilization that once dominated Earth, a civilization that had been overthrown with the rise of human culture. Now, facing the onslaught of the gifted, Evelyn and her team had to find a way to counter this ancient evil, to harness the power of the gifted and turn it against the forces threatening to consume the world. It was a desperate gamble with high stakes, but with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, they had no choice but to go forward. The final confrontation was a catastrophic clash of forces, a battle that raged in the very fabric of reality. Evelyn and her allies deployed all of their resources, their minds and bodies pushed to the limit in an attempt to turn the tide of the battle against the echoes of the damned. In the end, it was an incredible victory, hard won but at a terrible cost. The gifted were finally free of the ancient forces, but the world they had once known was gone, forever changed by the devastation that had erupted. Surveying the ruins of the world, Evelyn realized that the battle was far from over. The echoes of the damned had been driven back, but not defeated, and she knew that one day they would return, hungrier and more powerful than ever before. The future was uncertain, shrouded in darkness and whispers of the damned. But Evelyn was determined to keep fighting to protect the fragile remnants of humanity's hope in the face of the impending apocalypse. The world would never be the same again, but she would be damned if she allowed it to be consumed by echoes of the past.